Hello, welcome to the Trews. The Trews is the news. If the news was true, this is the Trews. Subscribe here to receive more Trews. Today, the news is about climate change. We're actually supporting a march that's taking place all over the world. There's going to be 2,000 climate change marches everywhere. It's all right, you moaning about it. Why don't you do anything? This time, in conjunction with Avaz, the campaigning website, and I don't know, activist group, we're supporting this march. I'll be there, 12:30, Temple Place, London, but there's marches in Edinburgh, Manchester, New York, all over the world. Just search People's Climate March and find out. But what is climate change? Is climate change real? Why are we doing more things with Avaz since our last time we did something with them? We nearly got murdered by Mossad. All these questions and more will be answered on the Trews. But why is there such doubt and confusion around climate change? Is it to do with a corrupt media preventing us getting access to the real information? Let's watch Fox News to find out.
A pre-winter into winter storm like Europe hasn't seen in years. Forget about all that global warming talk.
It's not global warming, I'll tell you that.
Another storm could be headed this way next week. Global warming, where are you? We want you back.
Think about your own life. If you spend all day eating bad food and smoking fags, your body responds to it. The earth is similarly an anatomy. If it's treated badly, then that'll happen. What's bad is that it's unnecessary, that there are alternatives, but the alternatives are denounced, concealed, debunked by people like bloody Fox News.
Global warming. New Yale study says 57% of teens understand that global warming is caused mostly by humans' activities. Is it really now? Is it really now?
You might want to look at Naomi Klein's new book, This Changes Everything, in which she says activism will be required to create the necessary change for energy companies because it's capitalism that's causing climate change, not like, well, it's an economic ideology that facilitates all this. That economic ideology is held together by organisations like Fox. And that bloke, who was that guy going, really? Is that Glenn Beck? Really now?
I don't believe climate change is real. I think this is global warming hysteria and alarmism.
It's hysteria and alarmism if it's real. Interestingly, Fox News are accurate on the subject of climate change only 28% of the time. That means 72% of the time Fox News are lying. You've created a statistic in a way that doesn't make it sound as bad. Last year, 7% of the time they were accurate. So 93% of the time they were lying. Things like that, where Sean Hannity's going, I don't think there's such a thing as climate change. Or the five, them five, who I sort of half fancy, half utterly deplore. When something's a bit evil and you think, God, you're evil. I fancy you!
I think this whole climate thing is the Galileo problem, right? It's science and power versus power, right?
Yeah.
And Galileo kept trying to say, look, I've got the science, and everyone kept saying, but we have the consensus. So Al Gore has consensus. They just take a survey of their friends and they say, here's what we believe, and now it must be true, and they demonize anyone who goes against it. I think the details are very threatening to them. That's why they don't want to look into this more and do more science.
Right. That's why they don't want to do more science. Get away from me, I'm doing science in here. She's an example of them gorgeous idiots, isn't she? You just think, oh, you bloody idiot. Oh, you idiot, what are you saying? What are you doing Wednesday?
So-called global warming, which isn't happening.
Global warming is illusory. We're actually going through a period of global cooling.
Calling carbon dioxide a pollutant? Come on.
Look how much pollution I just put out.
Glenn Beck's like someone who actually enjoys being an idiot, isn't he? Remember we've told you before that Rupert Murdoch's got shares in Genie Gas and Oil, a company that makes money from shale gas and, I imagine, gas and oil. So Murdoch, who owns this, has a vested interest in making sure that information don't get there. Not only the direct business interest, but affiliated business interest. Aren't you reaching the point in your life where you think, are we going to just let people destroy the planet so they can make a few quid?
This is our Fox News global warming alert for you. It is freezing.
Blizzard versus global warming. Who do you believe, Al Gore or your freezing butt?
Well, Al Gore, given that he's a person and has put a lot of, I don't know that much about Al Gore, and I probably ultimately can't, probably ain't that into him, but he's certainly put a lot of effort into the subject of climate change. Well, I've done several years of analysis and spoken to the world's foremost scientists, and I assure you that the evidence empirically suggests there is climate change. Thank you, Al. That's your side of the argument. Now my arse. Sorry, Al, my butt is really cold.
Yeah, but that's not to say that there isn't a huge number of scientists who believe there is global.
Right, but they also don't want to admit that they're wrong. They're just going to always pivot and move to the left and move to the right, try and figure out what they can do to kind of hold ground with their belief.
What would be the motivation, love? Like what?
You're trying to okay, you're pretending there's climate change so you can sell more badminton stuff and sweatbands.
What's the advantage of it? Right, because on one side of the argument, it's like there's a bloke who owns energy companies that don't want regulation and restriction and a media company, and he's saying there is no climate change. On the other hand, it's like Naomi Klein, who's dedicated her life to studying these issues, going, no, there definitely is, there is. I've spoken to everyone, there definitely is.
Naomi Klein there, the capitalist pig.
And let's not forget that even if the globe is increasing in temperature tiny amounts, there's no indication whatsoever it's because of anything managed.
And how many inches of snow again on Sunday? I mean, please.
And it saves lives, too.
I think we're going to have to do something about all of this. Luckily, there is this march, isn't there? We can go on this march. On Sunday, wherever you are in the world, find out where the nearest one is. I'm going to go to the one that's in London. I'll turn up there. We'll have a nice time. It'll be a laugh. It's just good to show these people that we're not cowed and conned and spellbound by their nonsense. Also, hopefully some of these gorgeous idiots will turn up there and we'll have a flirt with them.
We report, we'll let you decide.
Thanks, Sean. We will decide. There definitely is climate change. There's loads and loads of evidence for it. Let's do something about it. So find out where the nearest climate march is to you and go along to it. There's 2,000 of them all over the world. And let this be a start of ongoing activism. It's not like a one-off event, then we go back to being idiots. Let's just be involved in life now, given that the consequences of us not being involved is galling inequality and the destruction of the planet. Look at what fun the people of Scotland are having being involved in democracy they engaged and involved in. We can all do this. So that is some Trews. Trews is the new if the news was true. Subscribe here, become part of the Trews, support Avaz as well. Thank you, I'm Russell Brand.
Nose is a tool that is abused to fool you and to leave you scared and confused. Trews is like the nose if the nose was true. I want some Trews, let's have some Trews.